Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Daily Market Report brought to you by Mike Bjork. Today is Hump Day, and it's December 13th, and also not only Hump Day, but it is Fed Day. So we'll touch on that here in a minute here. But today we got some economic news on the calendar and some pretty big ones. The big one, of course, is the Consumer Price Index, also known as the CPI, for the month of November. This is a consumer-based inflationary index, so this is an important one, along with the PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditure. Uh, Although the Fed looks more close at the PCE, but this does have some weight as well. October, we had a pretty low increase, went up to 0.1%. Forecast for the month of November was 0.4%, and it did increase 0.4%. As we know, food and energy did rise in the month of November compared to October, as we can see the price per barrel rising. Now, when we strip out the food and energy, we get what they call the core CPI. This is more what the Fed will look at because they don't have any control over food and energy prices. So October went up 0.2%. The forecast that again was projected at 0.2%, and it came in at 0.1%. So still very low inflation. Matter of fact, it went backwards a little bit. Went from 1.8 year over year percent to 1.7. So it dipped 0.1% again. And then, of course, we got the FOMC statement. So investors were kind of looking for a lot of different things. The one thing that the statement didn't clarify or didn't make any mention of is the balance sheet on it. And the projection is they did make comment how inflation is low. They do project job market to be good for the next 3 years. They do it look like the dot plot. It looked like it will still support another few more hikes in 2018. Currently, it shows about 3 rate hikes. And today it happened to be Janet Yellen's last meeting as a Fed chair, as she will be stepping down, and Mr. Jerome Powell will be stepping in February. So to kind of move along here, the headline news: stock market's up. Of course, it was liking the news, of course, with the Fed, what the Fed had to say. There's really no surprises. And then, of course, in the early morning, the futures, it did have a little disappointment in terms of the election in Alabama with regards to Moore and the other person that won. But the Democrat won. So that what that concern was is that it narrowed the Republican control in the Senate, and but it sounds like as I'm writing this, the House and the Senate came up with a final version, which they look to pass this week. So it looks like they came to a final conclusion on a final tax reform plan. It looks like it's going to go ahead and go pass, and they're trying to speed that through, of course, before the new senator of Alabama reaches there to make any changes or any disrupts those plans. But for future, like perhaps with Obamacare and everything else, repeal of Obamacare, it could create some future problems down the line for the president and some of his agenda and the Republicans' agenda. So that raised a little bit of concerns earlier on, but they kind of shrugged that off in terms of what the Fed was saying, and the stock market is liking the news. So let's take a look and see how this is affecting the bond market, and it's liking it quite well. We're up about 28 basis points so far this morning. As you see, we start way down here. We've gone up over past the 25-day moving average, and we are approaching the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average and the Fibonacci. So as you can see, we got about 3 lines of lines here that are pretty powerful to pass. But the good news is that we have improvement in our interest rates today. On the other hand, on the 10-year Treasury, this has come down quite a ways. We started the day at 2.42, and now we're down to about 2.35 range. And again, we're trying to get this below the 200-day moving average before we really see any significant changes in pricing for interest rates. So that pretty much wraps it up today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. But if you guys want to get more data, including the market close, just stop over to Twitter. You can find me on my handle at Mike Bjork. And hope to see you guys. Look forward to see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. And again, we'll look forward to see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.